Willie D. Live.
Like this. We did a story on a guy who was on 12 aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon charges. 12. 12 months.
12.
12. And like I said, you're not good at it because you keep getting caught. Number two, in order to get that many, you got to be out here to do this. So there has to be a point where you just say enough is enough. This is not in the best interest of public safety. It's not in the best interest of you because you keep getting charged. And that's kind of why we started speaking up on this issue.
I saw another issue you've been speaking up on lately, and that's the case of Joseph Harrell. This is the kid, the 17-year-old kid who body slammed a woman and paralyzed her.
He didn't just rob her, he followed her from an ATM for over 20 miles. So that involves methodical thinking. And this was not like a spur of the moment, oh, here's somebody, I'm going to go. You followed this person for over 20 miles. And then you waited for the opportunity to rob her. And you didn't get what you wanted initially, so you took this single mother of three, whose husband had just passed away, and you body slammed her to the ground. This is in the middle of an afternoon, broad daylight. And then you stole her money, and then come to find out that you had also done this previously as well. You were also on bond for unlawfully carrying a weapon, a gun. And in this day and age, when everybody wants to talk about gun violence, one of the issues nobody wants to talk about is why we keep letting people back out to the streets in the community who've already been charged with having a gun. And we just keep putting them back out. So when he gets taken into custody, okay, everything's fine. And there was a lot of community outcry. I mean, God bless the people of Houston for stepping up to the plate and helping this family, because she was the breadwinner and that's one of the things that I also talk about. Is what we don't talk about enough is the cost of victimization. I hear all the time how much it costs to keep people locked up, incarcerated. I hear that all the time. I never hear anybody talk about the cost of victimization, what it costs if a family loses a loved one who was the breadwinner of that family, and all of a sudden they're murdered, and you've got no source of income for this family. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about someone working at a convenience store who gets shot while they were trying to rob them, and then all of a sudden has years and years of medical bills, or they can't work. Nobody talks about these things. And that's kind of why I talk about them, just to plant that in the mind. There's, like I said, no one talks about the cost of victimization and the lifelong effects. So in this case that we're talking about with the body slamming and the young man Joseph Harrell, you've got a mother of three now that's paralyzed. It's going to take years of rehabilitation. And when they took him into custody, they set what I thought was a very reasonable bond, which was $200,000, and then another $40,000 or $50,000 for another aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And then they reduced the bond in half, which really I couldn't comprehend why you would do that in the first place. There's a significant threat to public safety. I think that was fairly obvious by his methodical planning of this crime. This was not a one-time isolated situation. He's already out on bond for a gun. So I couldn't. And then you get the jailhouse confessions. You heard those, right? And then you're hearing him actually admitting what he did to whoever was the recipient of his phone call. You're hearing him saying what he did, and then I hear what I would say was even more reprehensible was him shaming the victim. Why, she's making money. She has a GoFundMe page. Now she's making all this money or just because what I did to her. Yeah, I did this. I took her but now look, she's making all this money. And I'm like, dude, first of all, it says right there, the phone calls are recorded. You must realize that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're actually admitting that you did this. And then you also admitted another one that you did as well. And I'm thinking, okay, the judge has to know this happened because it was all over the news. And I'm waiting going, I would think that you have enough here where you can impose a higher bond based on a confession, based on him shaming the victim. He's fairly obvious that there's a threat to public safety, and the bond still remains the same. I can't figure this one out.